Hey guys, it's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe, and I wanted to talk about The Attic Expeditions. This is a Severin film release. This was put out, I believe, the end of last year, if memory serves, so the end of 2020, and it is a region-free Blu-ray. This was very surprising for me to see get a release by Severin on Blu-ray. Just on Blu-ray in general, really. So, I had seen this movie, I think, 2 times prior on Amazon. It was on Prime, it might still be. And something about the movie just struck a chord. I don't know why. I think because it was so weird and layered and trippy that it sat with me, and it just had this strange tone to it that I kind of always remembered it, even though I didn't remember, like, part for part of the movie or section by section. I remember that it was a weird movie that I enjoyed every time I had watched it, even though I couldn't fully grasp it. But every time I do watch it, I feel like I gain a little bit more insight. So, The Attic Expeditions is a film starring Andros Jones, Seth Green, Wendy Roby from Twin Peaks and People Under the Stairs, Ted Raimi from Skinner and Sequest, Beth Bates, Jerry Houck, Nancy Wolfe, Jeffrey Combs from Reanimator, and famous singer, shock artist Alice Cooper. So it's got a very big cast of people, and it was directed by Jeremy Kasdan, who worked on parts of the Theater Bazaar, the Wizard of Gore remake, and I believe his other popular one was Dead Ones, which I have yet to see. It also has a very attractive redhead at the very beginning of the film who's completely naked, which always helps. So there's that. The movie is, as I said, very layered and trippy, so it's going to be a little hard for me to explain it without spoiling anything, so I'll try my best. It pretty much has Andros, I don't know how to pronounce his name, Jones, character in a mental institution. And there's clips of him getting his brain, having these weird surgeries done to him. He's interacting with the other patients. He's having what I believe are hallucinations throughout the film. And there are points in the movie where you don't know what's real, what isn't, and if the story that they're showing you is real or kind of just in his head. Being in the mental institution with all these people, are the people just different parts of his brain or different parts of his emotions? There's this overarching story with this like evil book, without saying too much, and the evil book is a very prominent part of the story. And is that real? There's a doctor in the film that's monitoring things, and you don't know if that's truthful or actually part of the story. And I don't want to give away too much, but that's kind of the gist of it. There's people that are there in the mental institution with him that, are they actual mental patients, or are they there on purpose to sort of push him in different directions and sway him? So there's a lot going on. There's a lot to take in, and I think every time you watch this movie, you kind of get a little bit more insight, as I had said earlier, but it's enjoyable. I didn't love Andros Jones's acting. He's a little flat. Seth Green I enjoyed. He's his normal kind of wonky, hey, I'm your buddy kind of character, though his character does change throughout the film without saying too much. Jeffrey Combs plays the interesting, weird, devious doctor. And Ted Raimi plays a doctor as well, but a much smaller part than I would say Jeffrey Combs, or at least just not as focused. And Alice Cooper has a very small part, and what's her name? Wendy Roby from Twin Peaks. She always plays just like a good kind of underhanded character, like she never fully shows her hand, and I always like that about her. So throughout the story there is some violence, some murders, things happening in the mental institution that I said you don't know who's doing them, if they're real, if they're not, if they're hallucinations. And then by the end of the film, it sort of flips back on its head again. And the movie almost, I don't want to say starts over, but again, you don't know what's real and what isn't. There is a point of the film where a couple times the main character keeps going, and I want to use his character's name really, not, is it Dennis? I forget his name in the movie, but anyway, he keeps going into the attic, and hence the name of the movie, Attic Expeditions. And every time he goes in the attic, there's this locked chest. And during the film, there's someone knocking on the chest inside, and he's knocking back, and he's trying to open it. At another point, Seth Green's character is trying to break open the chest so they can go into it or figure out what the hell's in it. So, I don't know if the attic or the chest represents the main character's psyche or his brain, and he's trying to have a breakthrough, so to speak. There's a lot of stuff like that that's symbolic, that's never fully explained, though it is hinted at or referenced. So I like that. I like things that keep you thinking and are thought-provoking, even though it is a B movie and it has a kind of low-budget, almost schlockiness to it. I do enjoy the film. You have to be in the right mood, you have to pay attention, and nothing is ever fully explained. So if you don't like movies that are fed to you, you probably won't like Attic Expeditions. I'd probably recommend watching it on a streaming service prior to buying it, even though I do enjoy it enough. I did enjoy it enough to watch it twice and then in turn purchase it. There was one more thing I wanted to say. Trying to think how to say it without spoiling the end of the film. I guess the best way for me to put it is you don't know, like I said, what's real and what isn't, and I feel like there are points in the film where there's a clashing, a divergence of real and hallucination, and they meet. Without giving away too much, that's sort of my interpretation of some of the film, but you have to kind of watch it to gain your own insight on that without me saying too much. I just really don't want to spoil anything. The special features, first off, the film looks good, sounds good. The special features have a 20-year pandemic reunion and story making of the Attic Expeditions. This was obviously done during the pandemic last year, so there's like Zoom calls and things like that. It runs 39 minutes. There's a 4-minute video of Alice Cooper and Jeffrey Combs being reunited. They seem to be very chummy, which is nice to see. They both seem like very nice people, again, through a Zoom call with the director. And then there is a horror scholar, Adam Rockoff, talking to the director through a Zoom call about the movie and how it's almost become a cult classic in a way. It was released in 2000. It definitely feels like a late 90s, early 2000 movie. But this is one that I think if I would have caught this late at night on like HBO or Cinemax, I would have enjoyed it, liked its weirdness, and it would have definitely been memorable to me. It always reminds me, and this is funny, it reminds me of my friend Full Custom Hot Dog, who I rib a lot on this channel, this and Skinner. And he didn't really like this. He bought this sort of on my recommendation. I don't think he was that much of a fan, but I am. And every time I watch it, for some reason I think of him, but just probably because I recommended it and he went out and bought it. But it's a good one. I think it's interesting, it's weird, it's definitely worth multiple viewings. The cast is great. If you like B-movies and old horror movies, and just, it's ridiculous the people they got in this movie. So I would recommend Attic Expeditions if you like things that have a clandestine nature to them. Not fully explained, that you have to sort of come to your own interpretations. But again, not A-budget movies. They are lower budget films. And yeah, I liked it. So let me know, guys, if you've seen Attic Expeditions. Definitely a weird one, very trippy, that I would recommend. Thanks, guys, for watching. It's Vampire Mike from Sega CD Universe. Be good.